I would now like to introduce Aretha Van Herk, our university orator, who will deliver the citation for our honorary degree recipient.
Peter Mansbridge, please stand. Eminent Chancellor, Madam President, members of the Senate and the Board of Governors, honored guests, fellow faculty, graduates. Canadians know two absolute certainties. Sooner or later, winter will arrive, and we will hear this measured sentence. Good evening, I'm Peter Mansbridge. And this is the National. Peter Mansbridge has been our guide through dozens of leadership races and elections, state funerals and Olympic ceremonies, the fall of the Berlin Wall, the Oka crisis, through the tunnels at Vimy, and into the skies beyond. We have journeyed with him in our living rooms and screens, knowing that he is trustworthy and steadfast, will impart information with precision and composure. Beneath that composure, though, is a man of character and self-deprecating humor. Imagine, he can manage Rex Murphy, Andrew Coyne, Chantal Hébert, and Althea Raj with effortless aplomb. Experience counts. Over his career, he has conducted some 15,000 interviews, from Barack Obama to Desmond Tutu, from the Dalai Lama to Naheed Nenshi, and we know he's the most difficult. He asks the questions that want answers. Those same questions help us to understand our diverse country. He is a part of Canada's DNA. But these are the facts. Peter Mansbridge is the chief correspondent for CBC News. He anchors CBC TV's nightly news program, The National, and he hosts Mansbridge, One-on-One. He has won dozens of awards for his journalism and reporting and has been named to the Canadian News Hall of Fame as well as the Order of Canada. Most important, in Disney's animated film, Zootopia, he voiced the character of news anchor Peter Moosebridge. A few short weeks ago, a job tweet appeared. CBC Radio in Thompson is looking for announcer-operator to engage northern audiences and share their stories. Peter Mansbridge retweet says everything. You will never know where it may lead. He was a 19-year-old baggage handler filling in as a flight announcer in Churchill, Manitoba, when a CBC producer heard him say, Transair Flight 106 for Thompson, La Paz, and Winnipeg is now ready for boarding at Gate 1. Canada's voice was discovered. Yes, Peter Mansbridge is Canada's voice, a voice speaking to and for all Canadians, a voice of unfaltering candor and accuracy. We know his neckties, his quizzical eyebrows, his genuine smile. We know he loves to tweet images of icebergs and the northern lights. We are quietly proud that his is the voice reflecting our country and our people. Eminent Chancellor, let us honor this anchor to our continued understanding, this man who offers to us informational daily bread, this balance and ballast, who dares to speak discomfort to power, and who most of all embodies and epitomizes our desire to know the truth. On behalf of the Senate and the University, I invite you to invest Peter Mansbridge with the degree Doctor of Laws honoris causa.
I admit you, Peter Mansbridge, to the degree Doctor of Laws honoris causa, and grant you all the rights and privileges, powers and responsibilities pertaining to this degree. Congratulations.
So, I think the first thing we should do is change that opening to the National. How about good evening? I'm Dr. Peter Mansbridge. Chancellor, President, faculty, staff of the University of Calgary, soon-to-be graduates, and their friends and family who surround you today, as they have done all their life, all your life. I'm honored to be here today, to be a part of this moment, to share it with you. You richly deserve the accomplishments that are about to be bestowed upon you. You have every reason to be proud. You have every reason to celebrate. And so do your family and friends celebrate with you. You know, the role of the honorary degree recipient is usually to give an address with perhaps some advice to those about to graduate. I often think of the famous Canadian actor Lorne Greene. None of you probably know who he was, but some of your parents and grandparents certainly will remember Lorne Greene. He got an honorary doctorate, I think it was at Queen's University, many, many years ago. And so he went through the ceremony that I just went through. He came up to the microphone and he looked at the crowd and he said, "Get a good bed. You're going to spend a third of the rest of your life on it. You want to be comfortable." Then he turned around and sat down. That was it. Now, you probably wish I'd be that quick, but I'm going to take a few moments longer. Not many, but a few, because I've thought a lot about what I'd like to talk to you about today. A couple of months ago, I had the pleasure of seeing your mayor speak at a conference that we were both attending in Ontario. And she said something that day that really resonated with the audience, and it resonated with me. It was about his vision of the future of this city. In fact, his vision about the future of the world. Here's what he said. "The future of humanity is community. The future of community is service." Let me repeat that. The future of humanity is community. The future of community is service. Now, that's a powerful vision of our future. To me, service is the act of caring about and helping those around you, regardless of who they are or where they're from. That each of us sees the world as bigger than ourselves, bigger than our individual problems, bigger than our individual successes. that we see in each other what unites us, not what divides us. But I fear as a society that we may be losing ground on that desired vision. The world's a complicated place, we know that. It's also a dangerous place, not only from war or terror or disease, all of which consume us and challenge the way we live. But the world is complicated from something else, something that's much more subtle. We seem to be losing the will, not the ability, but the will to understand each other, to recognize that having different perspectives can actually be a really good thing. We are relishing our divisions in a way that scares me, because when you start identifying people or their views as the other, well, that's when the problems begin. It's the inability to accept points of view that we don't share. It's our lack of caring to understand things that don't fit into our worldview. It's at best belittling those who don't agree with us, and at worst, it's hating those who don't agree with us. Hate. That is by far the greatest danger we face today. The Chancellor referenced hockey and the lessons of hockey. I always look at the end of a hockey series in the playoffs, two teams full of players who give it everything in the biggest games of their lives, who are out there ready to pummel each other, and they often do. Yet when it's over, there they are, all lining up, shaking hands, laughing, even hugging. Now, I don't know how sincere that is, but it's always struck me, and somehow this playoff season it struck me more than ever. I don't mean to trivialize the seriousness of the issues we face. The things that we often disagree on are much bigger than a hockey game. They're about our values, our livelihoods, the safety of our family and friends. The things that divide us are big things. We can't ignore that, and we shouldn't. We need to face our disagreements and our divisions head on, but with passion and conviction and respect. Because, as I said, I sense that some of us have lost the ability to disagree without being mean. I could give you examples, big, small, true, false, but again, you're all smart people. You're wired people. You know that spending 10 minutes on social media will be enough to cover the spectrum. And that's how this pattern I worry about started, with anonymous trolls who relish in disrupting and shocking and outraging our collective moral sense of being. Now, I wish it was just that small, insignificant, disruptive group, but it's not anymore. Social media has exploded with hate from those who are actually very willing to identify themselves. In some cases, they're our neighbors, our friends, our leaders, our family. But hateful comments have moved beyond social media, way beyond. They're in our politics, in our media, on our streets, in our classrooms, in our living rooms. Now, I know it may sound like it, but I'm not suggesting everyone is like this, not at all. But the bar of what was once unacceptable has shifted, and it's hurting us as a society. This is a massive challenge. It's up to each of us, but it's now especially up to each of you to take this on. This isn't some abstract, be nice to others message. This is serious. It needs to be taken seriously. It needs to be challenged ferociously by each and every one of us in everything we do, in every choice we make. We need to challenge messages of fear, of hate, of falsehoods head on and with conviction. but not with more hate. Respect does not mean being weak or being quiet or being complicit. The time for nuance and kid gloves is done. Stand up against what you see as unacceptable. Fight against it with everything you have. The decisions you make for yourself when you walk out of this room later this morning will help chart the course of not only your future, but our future. Not just what you do, but how you do it. So do it with compassion. Do it with kindness, but always with respect. Govern your own behavior and set an example for others. Because if you don't do it, no one will. We, all of us who surround you today, have incredible faith in you. You give us hope. I see what you've accomplished today from an institute as respected as this one. Each of you opened your mind while you were here. Don't close it now. We need you. We depend on you. It's up to you to change the way we communicate, the way we talk to each other, the way we think about each other. We need you, simply put, to change our world. The challenge is that big. But you know what? I know, and we know, that you're up to it. I know you're going to be great. And we're going to thank you for it. So thank you for this. It's truly an honor to be here, to be a small part of your day. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Mansbridge, for accepting this honorary degree today. We're well aware of your demanding schedule, so for us, the University of Calgary, it's a rare opportunity to be able to confer it to you. You are a role model as an iconic and respected Canadian. You're an inspiration to our graduates and to our faculty for your reliable and insightful news reporting, your promotion of Canada and the Canadian North. Thank you very much for your thoughtful words.